Boone, it's great to see you this morning. Thank you for joining us.
Sure.
I know you've been through cycles like this in the past. It's probably not a huge surprise to see it again, but I just wonder what you think happened this time around.
This time around?
Yeah.
Too much oil. But the thing that has not been focused on is demand is down. And the demand for the world was another 1,300,000 barrels this year, and half of that is what we got. So, and the oversupply of oil actually has come from the United States. So all that's very interesting, but I know you have some questions for me.
Well, the demand being down in China, the demand being down in Europe, we know that that's part of what's happening here. How much do you think the mix is? How much of it is oversupply? How much of it is lower demand?
Oh, I would give lower demand probably a little bit more credit for what's happened, but what you're going to have happen is just watch the rig count. And you have 1,500 rigs running on oil. Already you have dropped 75 rigs in the last 3 weeks. And if you go back to 1981, I know it's a long time ago, but 1981 we had 4,521 rigs operating in the United States, third week of December, and that was cut in half in about 12 months. And we in 1998, oil dropped to $10, and you cut rigs in half again, 1,000 down to 500. Then 2001 recession, 2008 recession, and they were cut about 40–50%. So you're going to have the same thing now.
So you think it'll be a quick drop-off in rigs? We already heard from Continental Resources talking about how they're going to be spending less money in terms of rigs and dropping some of those rigs next year. How long do you think it will take before oil prices come down?
Well, I saw where Continental, they cut their CapEx 40%. Harold Hamm, he's a smart guy, and so he's, he sees what he has to do. Why? Don't buck it. Just go ahead, accept it, and all. And so how long? Question. 12 to 18 months. Yeah, I think. Now I'm talking about Brent North Sea, which is $5–6 above West Texas Intermediate, and I think it'll be back up $90 to $100 a barrel in 12 to 18 months. The world got along just fine on $100 oil. And when you look at OPEC, which I want to comment about that, but you look at OPEC, and they have told us now 3 or 4 times in the last week, we are not going to cut production. We are not going to adjust supply. And they're making it real clear. Are they trying to test the U.S. producer? I don't know. Maybe so. But OPEC is not a cartel anymore, and you shouldn't identify them as a cartel. It's a trade association. When you look at, you've got Venezuela that's broke, so is Nigeria. They cannot stand this price for oil. They're going in the tank. Who is it that has everything to say about it? It's Saudi Arabia, because the Saudis have the flexibility. I don't think they can produce much more oil than 10 million barrels a day. Now, they pound on their chest, say they can do another 2–2.5 million barrels a day. I don't think that's true. If you look at their record, they've been to 10 million, I think, 3 times. And it was not kept at that level very long. So I think they're doing all they can do. Listen, the world needed us. The world needed the U.S. addition to oil production. If you go back to 2005, when I said peak oil is here, and if you look at 2005, stretch it out for OPEC, it's flat. I mean, we did peak in 2005. Now, where would we be today without the United States? You'd be looking at $150, $175 oil. Yeah, but so what's going to happen?
Boom! Peak oil wasn't for just the Saudis. That was a horrible call. We were nowhere near, we were not at peak oil. The world is that was a world. Peak oil meant for the world, that we found all the reserves we're going to find, and that it's downhill from there. And that anybody who believed in that looks like a like they had no idea what was happening now. And supply and demand.
You need to go back and look at what happened to oil production without the United States.
Well, no, I know, but we're talking about the Malthusian. We're talking about the Malthusian bet that population was going to exceed our ability to satisfy what everyone needed to use for energy, and that peak oil already hit, and that didn't happen.
Yeah, well, that's all good bullshit and all, but what you had, well, in 2005, you peaked. Go back and look at it.
Okay,
in 2005, you peaked.
A temporary peak doesn't count for peak oil.
No, wait a minute. You got to look at it. If it hadn't been for the United States shale boom.
No, I know, but it's oil, isn't it? Oil is oil. We found more, and we got...
Okay, if you're telling me
I think he's defining the word peak differently than...
Well, you know what peak oil is.
Yes, but I think he was...
and a lot of people have made a career on peak oil, and it made all kinds of determinations about what we need to do and how we're going to run out. And you know, once again, the markets work, and you know, let the free market work, and we find ways to find more stuff, right?
Yeah, I'm the expert, you guys, not you. You're sitting there giving me...
If you thought peak oil was hitting 95.
What did you say about 95?
You just said peak oil was in 1995.
2005.
Oh, first you said 95.
No, I didn't. I said 2005.
Okay.
But if you look at 2005, you're finished as far as the rest of the world. What saved you was the shale. It was the American industry saved the world one more time.
Great.
Now that's it. And
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Move on. I'm ready.
No. Let me ask you that though. If we're looking at these cycles like you're describing, maybe 12 to 18 months before low prices make a lot of people cap wells, and then we get down to low supplies, and then we swing back up.
Wait. Get the lingo right, Becky. We're not capping wells. That's not what
Harold
happens.
Hamm told me the same thing. Harold Hamm told me the same thing. We won't cap. That's not exactly the way we're going about it. But let's just...
No, you'll lay down the drilling rigs.
Right.
You'll lay down what do you mean lay down? You'll stop drilling.
But can you turn a switch and turn it back on when oil prices go back up?
Don't use the word turn it back on. You'll start back drilling.
Okay, so start back drilling. Can you start back drilling real quick?
Okay. No, you didn't hear me. You're going to cut 500 rigs out of there is what you're going to do. You're going to come down from 1,500 rigs to 500. You probably can get that accomplished in 6 to 9 months.
Boone, and how,
is what'll happen.
And how many of the guys who own the rigs might either have to file for bankruptcy, or, as you were saying, producers will be challenged over the next 18 months because they are so overextended, assuming that the price wasn't going to be where it is today.
Let's don't go off scale. That sure, the industry suffered tough times before. These guys, you'll get some that are over leveraged. You'll consolidate. There'll be some, and same way with some drilling companies. They'll consolidate also. But this is not an event that we haven't witnessed before.
No, that's my point, though. What I wonder is, do these swings speed up in terms of how quickly oil prices will go up or come back down? Are we just speeding up the pendulum swing and making this a little faster? I wonder, does technology make it faster for producers to be able to step up production or step down, tamp it down more quickly than we have seen in the past?
Well, go back and look at your times where it's dropped off. Just look at your rig count, study it for 15 minutes, and what you'll see is you're going to pull back. Those pullbacks have been about 40% of the rigs. All right, so I said a third of them, 1,500 down to 1,000. 30-40% of the rigs go down, and you're working with a decline curve you haven't seen on those other shutdowns.
Boone,
this decline curve is more severe. So what'll happen as the price of oil is down, you've got the cheapest oil in the world in the United States right now. I mean, we have just given our economy $1 trillion equivalent tax boost.
Hey,
okay.
Can you forecast? I mean, nobody knows more about natural gas either. I mean, I go all the way back to when I owned Mesa with you. Can you tell me the 10-year forward average price of natural gas? Is that all it's worth is $2, or does it eventually go back up to like more historic levels?
Well, I keep telling you, look at the rig count. When the price collapsed from $13 down to under $2 5 years ago on natural gas, what happened? Rig count went from 1,400 down to 400. Okay, you quit drilling, decline sets in, and demand will go up with cheap natural gas or oil. So demand will come up, price down, rig count is down, demand goes up, price is low, you go back to drilling, you can bring it right back up. It's unbelievable the resources that the United States has and the capability to go in and get those resources fast. So is what's going to happen to the natural gas price? Man, listen, it's down now. I mean, you've lost 60, 80 cents off of it, which is huge. That's 25, 30% off your natural gas price in the last 3 months.
Well, we should still
what's going to happen?
We should still do your plan, is what I'm saying, with all the trucks, and then the demand goes down even more, and then we can keep prices low around the world. I mean, we should still do it. You ought to be yelling about that, not yelling at me and Becky.
Okay, I'm yelling about that. All right.
That's what we are.
Okay, listen to it. Let me have a chance to respond, okay?
Go ahead.
You're sitting here. Now you're going to go to heavy-duty trucks. What's going to happen? You're going to have probably the railroads are going to go to it too. And it's been slower than I thought would happen, but it is still cheaper than it was 10 years ago, the comparison of diesel to natural gas. So, yes, it's going to happen, but the country needs an energy plan. And thank you for mentioning the Pickens plan, because that's an energy plan for America. But everything has been so cheap, nobody focuses on it. And so here you are. But again, I can tell you, OPEC is, they're sure, the Saudis are powerful. They are big. And all, but the rest of the crowd, I mean, it's a trade association is what it is. That's the way they talk. That's the way they explain things. It's not like a cartel.
All these viewers think you're really feisty. This guy asked whether Oklahoma State lost last night. What happened to you? They didn't even play, did they?
Well, sure we played. We beat OU in the last game of the season. You saw that. We're the champions of Oklahoma.
Basketball.
I'm still in the football season. See, I can't. Listen, at my age, I can only focus on energy and football until football's over with. I'll switch over to basketball.
Hey, Boone, we're out of time today, but next time you're in New York, will you come and visit us? We're moving into the city. We've got a new set there, and we'd love to have